What an incredible morning I've had so far. Shannon and I got here, I'd say around 5:30. Got set up, got in the climbers, and as soon as it hit daylight, I had that nice 9-pointer come in right behind me to my right. He skirted me at about 35 yards or so, and he worked his way up the logging road over to the right over here, but he must have met up with those other two bucks because they all three came walking right back down the other side down here below me in the logging road, and they all walked within, Lord, it had to have been 10 yards of me. I don't have my camera or my camera arm because I didn't have a climber pulled on this tree yet, so I was gonna hunt the morning and then put my camera arm up. So I was just videoing all those clips with my phone. But it's a beautiful morning. It's about 8:30 now. I've seen 11 deer so far, 3 bucks. Nice 6-point with really good brow tines. We got that buck on camera. And then there's a buck that's got like broke off points. He looks like a 6 or 7 point. And then there's a really nice 9-pointer. That's a good 3-year-old that he came in within 10 yards of me that I got a shot. But we got bigger deer on camera, so he's not on the hit list. I don't think we have that deer on camera at all, but I'm sitting right over top of a scrape on this logging road, and I put a little bit of doe and estrus tinks in it. And they all checked that scrape. They all went up to it, sniffed that licking branch, and checked that big scrape. But it's beautiful morning. Cold front came through last night. It was like 78 degrees when I drove up here yesterday, and we woke up this morning, it was 49 degrees. And when the morning started, we had a good northwest wind. It was supposed to be northwest, and it would have been right in my face. And it was a good wind, but I think about 45 minutes ago it shifted and completely turned the other way. Where all these deer, they're coming out of this big thicket in front of me. Where I shot my doe at, she died down in there. We had to drag her up out of there, and it's so thick, you have to get on your hands and knees to go through there. All the bucks went down in there. A lot of the does that I saw went back. They came out of the thicket, and then when they fed around for a little while, they went back into the thicket. So this is just an oak flat I'm hunting with a ton of acorns. And it's just kind of like a saddle. It kind of works its way up this ridge. And a lot of these deer like to walk these logging roads looking for acorns, and there are acorns dropping everywhere. But Shannon's only sitting about 150 yards from me up the ridge up here, and he's seen a lot of does. I thought he would have been able to see some of the bucks that I saw, but he said he never saw them. But yeah, it's been a great morning so far. It's October the 16th, and the temperature's finally getting cold. When that first cold front came through, man, we started seeing bucks right away, which is awesome. I think the plan is we're gonna hunt until at least lunchtime, and then maybe go get something to eat and come back around 3 o'clock, because it's not supposed to get higher than like 60 couple. Alright, well, Shannon and I, we hunted the farm yesterday. Today's November the 14th, and, there's a deer. Is that a buck? Did you watch a beat up 9-point? It's a doe. Alright, well, back to the interview. Today's November the 14th, and, we came over here to check the camera. We had a camera on this tree back here, and it died like the last week of October. And we had a couple decent bucks in here, and there were people racing dirt bikes over by the farm yesterday, so we wanted to stay out of there for the rest of the weekend. But we hunted here last night and saw a spike in 3 does just sitting on the ground. And we figured it wouldn't be the worst idea to come back in here because we had a couple good bucks on camera here. Most of it was like at night, nocturnal, but we figured it wouldn't be the worst thing to come back in here. So we got in here pretty early this morning, probably 5:15, right before daylight, and that's the first deer we saw. Which there's a doe coming right up to us right now. But that was the first deer we saw all day, and he's got a broken front left leg, and he looks like a little 8-pointer. This deer Shannon shot with his bow earlier this year also had a broken front right leg. So I told Shannon if he was all right with me shooting that deer, I was going to go ahead and shoot it because he couldn't even hardly get around very good. So yeah, here come 2 does right here. Alright guys, well, this isn't the buck that I wanted, I'm going to be honest. You know, Shannon and I have really tried to promote, quality deer management on the farm, and I've passed up, I had a couple videos a couple weeks ago, me passing up a pretty good 3-year-old 9-pointer, and this deer just came in here this morning limping on a bad leg. I think his left leg's broken. I mean, you can see it in the video right before I shoot him. He can hardly get around, hardly stand. And I'm just not gonna, I'm the type of guy that's not gonna let a deer like that walk, because I know we're supposed to have a harsh winter this year, and I don't want him to suffer and die on his own. I'd rather just go ahead and take him out of his misery now. And I just kind of felt bad for him. So really happy to wrap my tag around this deer though. I'd rather wrap my tag around this and make a clean, ethical kill, and have some extra meat in the freezer than just let him suffer and die on his own. I just don't want to let that happen. But he's just a young, probably honestly a 1.5-year-old 8-point.
He just got little G3s, little brow tines. He came in this morning about, I think it was about 7, right after 7, 7:15 or so. And we actually had a couple cows come in the field behind us, and we were just kind of watching them, because normally the deer filter up from the bottom, and Shannon thought those cows would kind of ruin us, so we were about to say, like, hey, let's go to this bottom and just see if we can catch them catching up before they get to the field. And as soon as he said that, I saw this deer, and he was limping. Like I said, he was limping pretty bad. But he came in, he was hobbling around. I shot him at about 35 yards, and I tried to aim right in the point of the shoulder, which I broke his shoulder. You'll see in the video, his shoulder goes straight. I broke it, but he flopped down over the, I think he actually didn't even make it over the fence. I think he flopped over the fence because his other leg was already broken. So when he flopped over the fence, he kind of rolled down this hill for 30 or 40 yards and piled up. But just thank the Lord I can be out here. It's cold this morning, probably 35 degrees. And you know what? It wasn't the buck I wanted, but he blessed me with a beautiful deer and another memory. And I'm just happy to wrap my tag around this deer. So rifle season comes in next weekend. So we'll be looking forward to pulling the rifles out and be able to shoot at them a little farther. And obviously, since I only have one buck tag left, I'm gonna really be selective. And there's only 2 or 3 deer that I'd really like to shoot, so I'm gonna try and be selective now and make sure he's a good one to hang on the wall. But that wraps up another Trail Wild video. We really appreciate y'all watching. Thanks. I don't know what it is about this time of year, but it seems like I always get good chances up here. I made the drive up to my home state of Virginia yesterday, and about an 8.5 hour trip there from, just south of Nashville. And told Papa, get up here early this morning. It seemed like the conditions were right. It was 23 this morning. It was a cold, chilly morning. I got in the stand, I'd say, they said the sunrise was 7:02. I got in the stand, I think it was about 6:15. And I sat there, and right as it broke day, I think about 6:40, I had a buck come in on me, right in front of me. And he came off this ridge right here. There's a field on top of this ridge. He came down out of the field off this ridge and was cruising for a doe. He came out in front of me, and it was so dark that his body was like black. I couldn't really see his body. And I heard him coming. I heard him coming for like a whole solid minute, but I couldn't see him. And he was coming out of these pines. And then he came out in the open. He crossed the creek right in front of me about 30 yards. And I think he saw me, or he heard me pick my gun up. And when I picked my gun up, I threw the safety off really quick. And I think he might have heard that too. And he was behind this tree. I tried to see if I could get the gun cocked while he's behind the tree. But he took one step out behind the tree, and he looked up right in the tree stand right at me. And I shot him right in the chest. I shot him right here. That's where I aimed. And he couldn't have been more than 25 or 30 yards. But I saw him run off, and he was stumbling. I saw blood pouring out of him. So I know I hit him, but it's about 7:30 now. I'm trying to give him some time because I don't know. I didn't see him go down. I heard him crunching a lot of leaves as he ran off, but I just might wait until about 8 o'clock, and I think we're going to go over there and track blood. I was just so surprised. Normally we don't see deer over at that stand. They don't come out of that field normally until about 8 o'clock or 8:30. So for that buck to be coming out that early, that really caught me off guard. I was ready to go. I heard him coming, I just couldn't see him. So I was just so confused, and he came up right smack dab in front of me. And I hope I made a good shot. I had an open window, but there were some branches in the way because he was behind this big tree that had a bunch of branches. So I just tried to put it right there in the point of his chest and see if I could get him. I'm a little surprised it didn't drop him if I hit him where I think I did. I just shot the gun yesterday and sighted it in about 75 yards up here, so that shot was a lot closer. That deer was about 30 yards, so I don't know. I guess we're going to see what happens. I'll keep y'all updated, and y'all can follow us along with the track. Hopefully we get him. Thanks for watching. boy, I got a big deer to sit behind today. I don't even know if we got pictures of this deer or not. But man, it was an incredible hunt this morning. I was not expecting to see a deer like this. I've hunted this property, I think I've counted 15, I've hunted this property 15 or 16 years, since I was about 7 or 8 years old. And I've never seen this big of a deer in here before. He's just probably a good 3-year-old 10. I didn't know he was a 10-pointer. We don't have any pictures of a 10 in here. The one thing I did see, he came in right on me. Like I said, I shot him right in the chest right here because he was facing me. I think he heard me pull my gun up. I shot him at like 25 or 30 yards, and we didn't find a drop of blood tracking this deer. I didn't find a drop of blood. I just knew where he went, and he came up on this hill and he was stumbling real bad. And I knew he was going to go down. And from where I last saw him, he probably was only 15 yards past that. But he came cruising by me this morning, right at first daylight. The sunrise was at 7:02, and he came by at like 6:40 or 6:45. And I had the opportunity to shoot him. I shot him with my Thompson Center Encore, got the 308. I've shot a lot of deer with that gun. He almost got me. He was behind the tree, and I think it was a locust tree with all the branches hanging down. And he got stuck behind that, so I thought that was my opportunity to pull my gun up. But he almost busted me because he was so close. And I'm just really fortunate. God's blessed me with a really, really nice buck. I've been patient all year. I passed a real good, probably 115, 120 inch 9-pointer. Maybe he was just about this size back in Tennessee earlier this year. But this deer's, I'm tickled to death. I never thought I'd ever kill a deer like this. Real nice G2s, probably 7, 8 inch G2s. Good G3s. He's wide. I bet he's 17 inches wide, maybe 18 inches wide. And he's got a massive body. It was a pain to try to pull him up out of that bowl over there, up here to the road. But luckily, Pawpaw can drive the truck back here, so we're about to just go ahead and gut him and throw him on the truck, and then we're going to hang him up and see how much he weighs, because I know he's a tank of a deer. He's big. But really excited to put this video out. This is my biggest deer I've ever killed. I'm probably going to go ahead and put this deer on the wall. I'm going to have to find somebody to do it, so I'm looking forward to it. Thank y'all for watching this video. Appreciate it.